What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jacob Kelly. I'm a digital marketer and strategist, and today we're talking about 5 influencer marketing predictions for 2020. Prediction number 1, micro influencers. The first point that I kind of want to bring up was micro influencers, and I know that people are already doing and partnering with micro influencers right now, but I think we're only going to see that grow into 2020. On my podcast, not to self-plug or anything, but it's called My Social Life, if you want to check it out. But on my podcast, I've had guests that work with influencers talk about it multiple times, and I've heard it come up time and time again now where they've partnered with big influencers and they partnered with micro influencers, and micro influencers have been more effective. An example is Reese Douglas talked about how he had a budget that he split 50-50, and he partnered with like 1 or 2 big influencers and then a bunch of micro influencers with the other half, and that half that was just micro influencers brought in way more of a return than partnering with the 2 big influencers. I wrote a couple points down as to why I think that is, and the first one being is that micro influencers just have a more targeted approach. When you're partnering with a micro influencer, typically because they have a smaller audience, they're more niche and more targeted and specific. So you know exactly who you're talking to when you're partnering with a micro influencer. These bigger influencers are just so big at some points that it's just such a wide net that you can't actually know who you're talking to. But micro influencers allow that. Like typically with their micro, they talk about a specific thing, whether that be food or video games or basketball or something specific. So you know kind of the demographics and psychographics of who you're speaking to when you're working with micro influencers. So it allows you to be more targeted with your approach to influencer marketing. So I think we're going to see more of that. And the second reason too is these micro influencers, they have a better relationship with their followers than these big massive influencers do. When I say a better connection, I think it's different when it comes to micro influencers versus bigger influencers. I think these bigger influencers, it's more of a fandom thing, whereas with a micro influencer, it's actually like a true connection because their followers feel like they know this micro influencer because they have such a small audience that they're able to communicate with a larger percentage of their audience on a one-to-one basis. They're very accessible through DMs. They reply to all their comments, whereas when someone hits a certain scale, if you have 1 million Instagram followers, it's almost impossible to reply to all of your comments, reply to all of your DMs, reply to all of your YouTube comments, all your emails. But these micro influencers, because their engagement isn't because they don't get as much engagement, they're able to reply to all of their comments. They're able to answer all of the DMs on a consistent basis. So they can have long, thoughtful conversations with their followers, whereas someone that's a bigger influencer, that they can't do that. So these micro influencers have like a true, genuine connection with their audience. So when they promote a product, their audience is going to believe them and they're going to want to buy it because they respect the opinion of this influencer. So it's going to be more effective just because there's more of a trust factor with a micro influencer than like a big time influencer. Also, micro influencers, they're going to be more cost effective, right? Like if it's a bigger influencer and a smaller influencer, this micro influencer is going to be more cost effective just because they don't have the same reach a big influencer does. I mean, again, we can get into the whole conversation of partnering with multiple micro influencers, so it costs the same as a bigger influencer, but then you're going to get better returns by doing that. But on a one-to-one comparison, micro influencers are cheaper than bigger influencers. Prediction number 2, longer brand partnerships. Another thing I think we're going to start to see more of in 2020 is more longer term partnerships between brands and influencers. Right now, like the common thing to see is a brand sponsors an influencer. They do one like Instagram feed post, maybe a couple stories, or maybe it's a YouTuber. They shout them out in their video and then it's on to the next one. And you'll kind of see these brands come and go. Like when a brand comes heavy on their influencer marketing, you'll see them pop up in a bunch of your favorite creators' videos, but then that brand kind of goes away and then they start, another brand pops up and then all your favorite creators are promoting that brand now. And I think we're going to stop seeing that as much. I think we're going to start to see longer term partnerships. I'm talking like significant 6, 8, 12 month campaigns, contracts, because it's just gonna be more organic that way. When someone's always promoting a new product, you can tell that they're chasing the bag. Like for me, the one that I always kind of laugh at is when these people promote like playing these mobile games and talk about being addicted to mobile games. And in some cases, maybe that's true, but when these people, like if you're a certain scale of influencer, like you don't have time to be playing a mobile game. Like I know you're just chasing a bag. I know you're just trying to cash a check. And I get it. I totally understand the appeal, especially because I'm sure some of the money in there that it's throwing at you is numbers that I will never, ever see in my life. So I understand, but I think it's going to be more effective, and we're going to start to see this more of longer term partnerships where people partner with brands they actually like over a significant period of time. It's going to be more organic. It's going to be a better relationship between brand and influencer. That brand too is always going to know what they're going to get. If you're working with the same people every single month, you're going to become accustomed to the type of work they can provide. So you're always not necessarily concerned with what's going to be provided from that influencer. So I think it's going to be a more organic relationship. It's going to come across as more genuine when someone's almost like partners with the brand as opposed to just being paid by them to do something. So I think we're going to start to see more and more of that, of brands partnering longer term with influencers to create actual relationships and not just throw money at them and get them to talk about their product. Prediction number 3, more creative freedom for the influencers. And with the third trend is like, I feel like in the past, people have been very much like they've been very much like hands-on with the products that they're trying to get these influencers to promote. Like they're going to tell you the caption, they're going to tell you exactly what photo to use, exactly what time to use. There's just like an example I saw of Scott Disick, who literally copy and pasted like, post this caption at 4 p.m. and that was like in his actual caption. But I think in 2020 we're going to see people really move away from that. I think that people are starting to understand now that no one understands an influencer's brand better than an influencer themselves, right? So by stepping back, you're going to allow the influencer to create content that's going to resonate with their audience. It's going to come across as more organic, which is going to make the promotion more successful. Where as if it's like it sticks out like a sore thumb in their videos, people aren't going to be stoked with that. And I think also another place where that's going to become more and more evident is TikTok. With the way TikTok works and the way people promote on TikTok, you can't just sell, because if people don't engage with content on TikTok, it's not going to get promoted on the For You page. It's not going to be shown to people, so less and less people are going to see it. So you're going to have to allow these creators to be more creative and allow them to create content in a way that's natural to their followers. And I think we're going to see that kind of translate to other platforms, whether it be Twitter or Instagram or even YouTube. I think allowing these creators to have more creative control is going to be beneficial for not only the brands, but also the creators, because it's going to allow them to have more fun with these brand deals. Prediction number 4, advertising on TikTok. Speaking of TikTok, I think we're going to start to see more brands jump onto that platform and promote it. I'm already starting to see some examples of influencer marketing happen. I mean, probably the most famous one right now is the David Dobrik campaign that he did with TikTok. But I think what we're going to start to see now is more and more brands jump on there. And I know that people are probably thinking like, what do you mean? Like TikTok's for younger kids. Kids can't buy. No, they can't. But what we will see is that kids can influence their parents to buy, right? So when a mom wants to make a decision, who influences that mom? It's her kids. So if you can influence the kids on TikTok, that can then convince their parents to buy the product. That's where you'll see your sales, at least in the short term. And in the long term, as long as TikTok doesn't go away, we're going to continue to see that platform age up, right? Like if you look back into previous examples, Facebook was originally used on college campuses, and then it started to kind of age up. Now who's left on Facebook? Your mom, your grandma, your dad, right? So there was a point where Facebook was for younger kids, and now it's not. And Instagram's the same thing. It used to be a lot of younger people on Instagram, and now my mom's on Instagram, even my granddad's on Instagram. So that platform aged up as well. So just because TikTok's young now doesn't mean it's going to stay young forever. It's starting to get adopted by a lot more people. I'm pretty sure I saw a stat somewhere that said it had like 1.5 billion downloads at this point. So if that's the case, we're only going to start to see older and older demos jumping on that platform. And then influencer marketing can be more effective, because then you can be talking directly to the people that are making the buying decision. So I think in 2020, as TikTok continues to gain momentum, we're only going to see advertisers jump in there more and more to try and make money off of that growing platform. Actually, another benefit to TikTok as well is the fact that organic reach is so high. Whereas if you partner with someone on Instagram and do an influencer marketing campaign with somebody on Instagram, that's only going to be seen as much as the algorithm lets it be seen, right? That's the caveat with influencer marketing. So if you go into TikTok and you allow this creator, like I said at my previous point, to create content that's organic to them, that makes sense, and people are actually going to engage with it, TikTok's going to promote that post onto its For You page so that an extra thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions of people might see that brand sponsorship. So partnering on TikTok has a much easier ability for those posts to go viral, which then will be more beneficial for the brand because it'll grow their awareness. So I definitely think we're going to see a lot more brands jump onto TikTok in 2020. Prediction number 5, more challenges. Challenges come and go on the internet all the time, right? Like we've seen examples in the past of like ALS Ice Bucket Challenge and the Tide Pod Challenge. Now, those two are tied to brands. They're a little bit different because the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge was manufactured and the Tide Pod Challenge wasn't, but both raised a ton of awareness for each of the brands, and challenges have the ability to do that. People are always looking for the next fun challenge to do on social media, and I think we're going to start to see brands try and manufacture their own challenges in 2020 and then kind of grow them and get awareness to their challenges off the backs of influencers. Like an example we saw recently was David Dobrik actually did a partnership on his TikTok with Chipotle. He did a lid flip challenge where like he'd take the lid and somehow like flip it so that it's into, I don't know exactly, it's hard to explain. Just search up the David Dobrik lid flip challenge and you know what I'm talking about. So Chipotle partnered with David Dobrik to do a challenge on TikTok, and it actually took off. It did really, really well. It gained a ton of awareness for Chipotle. So I think we're going to start to see brands try to manufacture their own challenges and then let influencers kind of do the challenge, run with it, and then all of their followers are going to start to do the challenge because their favorite influencers are doing it, which is then going to gain more brand exposure for that brand. And then as more and more people are doing it because they saw an influencer doing it, they're also going to be showing it to all of their followers as challenge. And then their followers are going to try the challenge, and it just compounds and it's going to grow. So I think in 2020, we're going to see a lot more brands try and create their own challenges that are going to allow them to go viral. And then so they're going to have to pay to kind of get the ball rolling. But once the ball is rolling, it's going to be a ton of organic engagement and impressions for that brand. That is it for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section down below whether you agree or disagree with my predictions, and let me know some of your predictions as well. Also, be sure to like this video, share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell to get notified when I post my next video. Also, if you'd like more from me, be sure to check out my podcast, My Social Life. I interview people that are doing interesting things on social media, including influencers and YouTubers. It's available wherever you get your podcast, and I'll also make sure it's linked in the description. And that is it for me this week, everybody. Thank you once again so much for watching. We'll talk soon.